I apologize that yesterday's stream was such a debacle. What it came down to was a bandwidth issue. That's okay. We'll fix that, and we will make sure that the next session is running very smoothly. Not a problem. So for today, what I'd like to do is fast for a little while. Not having anything to eat until lunchtime. Trying to lose weight. So, I'm going to work on the end and the Odyssey engine, which will be the new game system and emulator system produced by Haphazard Gaming, which is a subset of Haphazard Projects, which pretty much allows me to publish whatever I want. Haphazard Gaming just means we focus on the gaming. So I am Eric Johnson, also known as Edic Padraig, and I guess we're going to go ahead and get started. Hey everybody. And I only look this fat because I'm leaning back in my chair. I promise you. If I sit up, yeah, anyway. Alright, so the Odyssey engine, Haphazard Project. We're going to scroll down a little bit and show you a little bit of what's on the way. We have a nice little intro section already written up. We might add or subtract from this, but we feel it's pretty conclusive of what the game is supposed to be and give you an idea of why you should even play in the first place. Then we get into some game mechanics themselves. Actually, no, this is talking about the system of the end, the backstory of it, the elevator pitch, I guess. Basically, to shorten this up, all mythology is real. And there is an instability in the border between all realities. So you are what is known as an anchor. You are able to manipulate the flux, which is the force at the heart of the reality distortions. So, and then in there, like our own mythology will say that, werewolves were around in France in the Dark Ages. That mythology says that, but this game's context says mythology is real. The way that works now is one of these settings that are described, and you can't see my cursor here, so I'm just going to scroll down so you can see them all. Let me enhance the text size a little bit. Come on. Enhance. Not that much. Maybe that much. Alright, so these are the realms. Each explains different aspects of stories that we want to bring in. But what you see are the Vathuls and the Quinthuls. The Vathuls are basically pocket dimensions. The Quinthuls, any number of worlds, which means game masters can create their own settings and plug it into this game and it all works. So creativity knows no bounds in this game. You take the best of what I design, you take the best of what you design, mash it up, play the game however you want. Which is pretty much the golden rule of all RPGs, is to play them however you want. So we get in here and we see that there are 3 levels of play. Adventurer, Hero, and Paragon. Now, once you pick one, it is hard to progress to the next. Possible, but hard. So each one just explains maximum attributes, maximum skills, specializations. You can read this. And we'll get into what it all means a little bit later. Rules for character generation. We'll get into all this a little bit later. Let's see here. So resources we'll get into a little bit later. The 7 size levels. Basically, and a human being would be average, of course. How to spend expertise to build your character, because all characters get a certain amount of expertise during character creation, and it's just another fancy word for experience points to say that you're not starting off with nothing. You're starting off with a little bit of backstory. So you get the expertise to go along with that to enhance what basically fits your backstory. And then the next one is how much it costs during gameplay. Go down. There are 4 attributes in the game. Physique, psyche, social, and soul. Physique is everything physical. Then you have psyche, which is everything mental. Social, of course, is everything social. And soul is primarily used if you have any type of supernatural or extra normal special abilities, let's just say. There are 5 types of traits within each attribute: power, action, interaction, reaction, and understanding. We'll get to those traits here in just a second. In fact, I think that might be next. Yes, indeed. Traits. So the destiny traits are you putting yourself into the world and inflicting your will upon everything. So that's speed, initiative, resilience, and fate. They have specific starting numbers. They have 1 to 10 scale. Resources are basically traits you get from your attribute traits, adding them together. Like aggression is supposed to be aggression. Let me fix that real quick. I'm glad I'm reading this right now. We can edit this as we go. It's aggression. Aggression is 1/2 your physique plus your levels in strength and agility. And you can see there, strength is power, agility is action. It outlines that right there. And the traits are in order. So willpower is power, intelligence is action, ingenuity is I can't remember. Ingenuity is, we scroll back up. Interaction, reaction would be perception, and reason would be understanding. And these are just names that help you understand what each trait is. Hello to my viewer. We are going over mechanics for our next game, which is called The End. It is also built by an emulator that we are going to translate for not only solo play, but regular table group play, and even LARP play, so that you can literally play this game however you want. Try to get this game into as many people's hands as possible. So, so physique is on a 1 to 6 scale. So you would take half of your physique, take your strength and your agility values, which is on a 1 to 6 scale. Okay, that would be your aggression score. And what that does is it allows you to add that aggression score to your damage rolls. And each trait does a certain combination to do similar things. Vigor allows you to subtract from damage you take. Education allows you to add to any roll that you make. Adaptation allows you to add to a roll that's already been made, to help you get a greater chance of success or a greater degree of success. Let me see here. Soul doesn't have traits per se. There are things that are within soul that dictate like how to use special powers, specifically Sange, Breath, Siam, Dream, and Reach, as you can see. Typically on a 1 to 25 scale, although there is a BAS scale on top of that. Basically, B being how would I say here? B being a advanced level, A being a proto-human level, and S being, of course, supernatural or divine status. In those traits, Sange allows you to activate superpowers. Breath is for psionics. Siam is for magic. Dream and Reach are both for different types of psionics. The specific types of psionics, I should say. 8 skills rated from a D3 to a D12, as you can see here. And then we get into the degrees of difficulty. And it's just as simple as saying, I need you to roll a rigorous skill check. And then that's tier 6, you have to get a 30 or higher. This is a dice pool game, dice pool scale game, I should say. Then we talk about multiple successes, further intervals of 5 basically, critical successes, critical failures. I have an example here that shows a character scaling up in power and training so that you can see how it balances out. I think I did pretty well on the balancing aspects of this. Combat only has 5 steps. It's very, very simple, as you can see here. And then we get into the special effects of combat. Here, these are your formulas for your resource traits. Your combat theory covers your defense in combat. Reaction rate is basically what most games call initiative. And then I show you the math for an average person, which gives you an average rating, which fits the math perfectly. So we can skip this for right now. Skip that. Skip this. Concept foci are the first things you choose when you're making your character. So as you can see, you can make an average person. And it covers the concept foci, and that's just a title given for game design purposes. That's not going to be the final title. But the concept foci give you your attribute bonuses. And then it gives you a little bit of background information as well. You also get some trappings, which is basically some equipment, I guess you could say. And then you get typical professional foci, is what we're calling them right now, based upon your average person in America. ethic of the working class, drive of the hero, discipline of the military, so on and so forth. Each one is going to have 4 of them. The first one on there is a primary, then you have a secondary, tertiary, and then the last one is you might as well not even bother because it's going to be so hard to advance. It's not even funny. You can take any professional foci you want. These are just the typical ones that go with that. Specific, so you can play retired, house parents, and house parents actually kick butt in this game. The reason why you can make normal people is because, like I said earlier, this is a trans-dimensional game. Normal person may get sucked into a fantasy realm. Next thing you know, the normal person is learning how to fight or cast spells or something like that. So why not be able to play a normal person in this game? It only makes sense. So you go through here and you can see the various options we have. Some of my favorites include the house parent. We have the specialist. Then we get into some fantasy ones like the Godborn. I really like the Godborn. Then we have the Dragonborn. A lot of people for fantasy games are going to like that one. The Elementant. Elementant is basically you're tied to an element. And we have the traditional elements up top, and then we have the Japanese elements or the Asian elements down on the bottom. You can choose which element group you want to follow. The Celestial, the Infernal, again, D&D players will find these familiar. You can bring that over from your concepts of D&D into this game. The Undying is basically playing an undead. Elru, Koru, Casuals, Aethers, those are all specific to other settings that this game will detail. If you have been following Haphazard projects for any amount of time, you know that we just finished an incomplete backer kit for the Aether Blood Chronicles. Playing an Aether in this game allows you to play Aether Blood Chronicles. You just don't have to pay attention to the rest of the game. You just follow this stuff for Aethers and Casuals, which I think is pretty darn cool. Super Soldiers. The Inevitable is a pretty unique concept to one of my games. It would have been Chronicles of the Orb Shadium Song, and now it is a specific game setting within the end. And I'm just going to get some of my notes out here in case I have to refer to them. So the Inevitable is basically you're from a different time. And the time you're from, you are exactly who you're supposed to be. Then there's the Imperfect. You are from another timeline, and you are not what you are supposed to be. An example would be like, take the TV show Loki. All right, you know how he had all the variants. He would have been the Inevitable. Whereas the others, most of the others would have been the Imperfects. So, and then we continue down the list. Concepts can be very simple. The Mask is someone that simply does not like to stay with one social group. They like to mix and match who they hang out with, and as such, they adapt to new situations very easily. Believers and Chroniclers are unique to another game setting within the end, so you'll be able to see that as well. Endless are specific to another one. They're basically immortals. Then we get into some more common. some of the tried and true tropes of fantasy and sci-fi gaming. Survivor is another one of my favorites. The Mutant is very unique. Um, you can see that very soon. We're going to put a list of mutations that's almost done into this game. Cyborg, which is a little bit. There we go. Cyborg being the last one. And then we get into the list of the professional foci. And as you can see, there are quite a few. Some of these are a little bit harder to read. I don't know why. We're going to fix that right now. Come on. I don't know why, but this trick usually gets it to where it's easier to read some of them, and it did not work this time, but that's okay. So the professional foci, like I said, it's not the finished name. That's just the working name. We are giving you your choice of what jobs you want to do, and then the jobs you've done in the past that you can pick up once again, or picking up new ones. Generally, you can have up to 5 options on your character sheet. Generally. You can have more than that, but 5 of them will have a direct impact on gameplay. And of course, you can stack them to get optimal gameplay if you want to, or just take the ones that make the most interesting character. Professional foci. Oh yeah, this is where we get into the descriptions of it. And when you look at the professional foci, you can see that, like the conceptual foci, as it deals with attributes, we deal with skills here with the professional ones. And you also get some extra bonus abilities and some extra trappings. Now, we're not done with this list. We're done with the conceptual foci. We are not done with the professional foci because it is a long list, and we have been busy running games recently, which is fine. We have the rest of the week to work on this. Let me get you to one of my absolute all-time favorites, which is complete. Come on, where are you? It's the next one. The core of the family. Basically meaning you are a parent, and you are the strength of your own family that everyone relies upon within your family. Everything you've seen a parent do in a movie is provided to you by this foci. Everything. Protecting the family, making general repairs around the house, staying vigilant, protecting kids and significant others. There's a bad parent jokes, like bad dad jokes, basically. Improves morale, which I thought was a pretty clever thing. And you can see they're fairly tough. On a scale of 1 to 10, they start with 4 wound levels, which means they can take up to 4 levels of wounds. And then, it goes on, and we're still working on a lot of them. So here's the list of those realms we were talking about. Aetherblood is known as Ashenthul. Chronicles of the Orb Shading Song is Sirenthul. Modern Earth, Binthul. So on and so forth. You can read the list. I'm not going to recite the whole thing. And then we get into some characters that we've made to make sure that everything's balanced. As you can see, professional foci, like I said, you can have a lot of them. But only the first 5, Cloak of the Infiltrator, Conviction of the Reacher, Core of the Family, Discipline of the Military, and Drive of the Hero, really matter to how this character is played at this moment. So, and then we can go on to the next one and see. This one has a lot of them as well. But Whispers of the Agnati, obviously this is an Aether. And while the Thief, Will of the Lower Class, Reckoning of the Judge, and the Ultimatum of the Villain. These are the 5 main ones here. And then for the most prominent of the Aethers from the Aetherblood Chronicles, Whispers of the Agnati, Vigil of the Guardian, Discipline of the Military, Simplicity of the Skilled, and Crucible of the Ninja, because he was a classically trained ninja. Lots of people who have play tested this game or ran bonus sessions with me are aware of the monotone. They love the character, which is great because I love the character. And next we start getting into the Odyssey engine. And this is just the notes we have so far. Basically, the first thing you do is you figure out the realm that your origin is playing in. Then you find out your starting themes for the first story beat. Meta is special. You can understand what each one of these are except for meta. Meta is a scene that you play through, except it takes place behind the scenes of everything that's going on in the main story, so that there is carry through to link what is going on with the overall meta plot. So then you have stress. Typically we'll start at a 1 or a random level. Flux is always going to be random. And for characters, we're literally going to allow you to just roll on tables to create your own species, or you can just choose one. Either way, does not matter. Plot lines, how we're going to be developing plot lines, subplots, locations. This is the one we have the most work on thus far. As you can see, get into what biome, locations, the type of home, type of business, if there's ley line influence, numbers of individuals gathered at a specific location, roll for crowds with the character section. We're going to have a quick section in there just to roll for random crowds that are going to be taking place in a scene. Objects, of course, we just have outlined. Hazards, outlined. Creatures, barely even started. Rewards, barely even started. Disposition, barely even started. Newman are a good place to talk about here for a little bit. They're not God. They're godlike. Pseudo-divine creatures, demigods, things like that. So this is where you will see the divine portfolio, just like you would in D&D or in most fantasy games. Weather, we included tectonic events. It's only outlined right now. Metaplot, of course, we haven't even started. And then we're going to have special tables and charts in a way that honors a specific game designer. Those of you that know her know that she worked on a couple of projects with special tables. And if you know who I'm talking about, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So we're going to be including special tables to honor our fallen friend. And I believe that's really it as far as what we have right now. So we're going to call it right now. We're going to I'm going to go walk my dog and come back a little bit later, and we'll actually get some work done on the game. Thank you for watching. Take care. Happy gaming, and hopefully we will see you later.